Hello, Dr. Brant Hulsebus here, and welcome to another edition of Ask the Chiropractor. Ask the Chiropractor is my little podcast that I do. When someone has a question about chiropractic or chiropractic care, I try to answer. I'm a chiropractor here in Rockford, Illinois. I'm a proud graduate of Palmer College of Chiropractic, and I'm happy to be the team chiropractor of the Rockford Ice Hogs. Let's dive into it. Welcome to another podcast. So this podcast is going to be about my upcoming class I'm doing live in person in my clinic. If you're watching this on November 11th, we're going to do a holistic night. Now, what is it about a chiropractor doing holistic night? Well, if you've ever seen my name professionally written down, you'll see that I have a DC, it's a Doctor of Chiropractic diploma. Afterwards, you'll see the letter CCWP. CCWP means Certified Chiropractic Wellness Practitioner. Let me tell you a little bit about how I earned the certificate. When I was young in practice, I went to a seminar out in Las Vegas, a huge chiropractic seminar called the Parker Seminars. At the Parker Seminar, we had this presenter named Dr. Jim Chestnut, and he had us all in a room, more than 2,000 chiropractors in the room. And the question was asked, are you a second-generation chiropractor? And in that room, there was a lot of hands and people stood up because they were second-generation chiropractors. And then the next question was asked was, please still stay standing if you're a third-generation chiropractor. And this is when I found myself alone. For those of you who don't know, my father practiced chiropractic for many years, now retired. But before him, my grandfather also was a chiropractor. So our family started seeing patients back in 1949 continuously till today, 2025. As you look behind me, you'll see over 75 years of helping people stay healthy. So Dr. Chestnut asks us third-generation chiropractors a few questions. One of the questions he asked me was, I bet when your grandfather's old patients come in, they tell you he could get them better like within 1 or 2 visits, but it takes you 1 or 2 weeks to get them better. He asked me, what's the difference? Did your grandfather have more education than you? In Grandpa's time, chiropractic school was only 2 years long, actually 18 months. Grandpa didn't have to learn about DNA or MRIs because nobody knew what those things were back then. So back then when you went to chiropractic school, you could go right from high school right to chiropractic school, and 18 months later you can graduate Palmer. It was 2 years for every other school, but Palmer had longer days. So when Grandpa started chiropractic school, 18 months later, he graduated with his doctorate of chiropractic back then. So no, Grandpa didn't have more education than me because I have my bachelor's of science and my doctorate of chiropractic. I went to school for 3 years basically first, and I transferred into chiropractic school. And I did 10 trimesters then of chiropractic college, 30 hours a trimester. So I graduated with a doctorate and a bachelor's of science, all from Palmer College. So I had more education than Grandpa had. Then I was asked, maybe your grandfather had a better relationship with the medical doctors than you do. And that was comical because, you see, in Grandpa's day, it was illegal to be a chiropractor in Illinois. He practiced all the way until 1963 when he was finally able to get his license. The medical doctors at that time were trying to destroy chiropractic. There was a lawsuit called the AMA versus Chester Wilk, W-I-L-K, where Chester Wilk Chiropractic discovered that they were trying to destroy chiropractors. And there was a United States Supreme Court case where they were trying to ruin chiropractic. And so I don't think Grandpa had a better working relationship with medical doctors than I do. Because you see, today I work with the Ice Hogs, where we work hand in hand with the medical doctors right in the same room with the same players. And not only that, but I refer patients back and forth to medical doctors a lot, and they refer to me a lot now. Because sometimes you come in here and you have an infection and you need an antibiotic, and a medical doctor can give you that. You might come in here and you have a torn rotator cuff, literally torn ligaments in your shoulder, and I have to refer you out to an orthopedic doctor because adjustments won't fix torn ligaments. When I tore my bicep out of my elbow, I didn't go to a chiropractor. I went to a medical doctor because he was able to do surgeries and fix my elbow so I can still see you as a patient today. And I also have several orthopedic doctors who are patients of mine, something that never would have happened to my grandfather, never in a million years. So we have a much better working relationship with the medical field than my grandfather ever had. And maybe, lastly, maybe he said, maybe your grandpa had better diagnostic equipment than you. I've already said that. Grandpa didn't even know what an MRI was. It didn't exist yet. So today we have so much better diagnostic equipments. Dad tells me stories of walking up down the hallways with x-rays hanging to dry when Grandpa took them because they had to wet process them. So you would take the x-ray and it would be wet for days before you got to put it on a view box. So he'd go out there with a flashlight and try to look at the x-rays in the hallway to get the patient the care they needed then and not wait for the x-rays. When I first graduated, we didn't even have digital x-rays yet. Dad had the one you had to put in the machine and it would spit them out. And those were prompt. It took less than 5 minutes. But today we have digital x-rays. We get the image right away. And we can see so much more with digital x-rays. The clarity and the contrast is so much better than it ever has been. No, I have better diagnostic equipment. So Dr. Chestnut says, so why did your grandpa get better results than you did? If you have more education, better diagnostic equipment, and better working relationships with the medical field. He goes, let me give you a secret. It's not you, it's them. Your patients today are more sick than they've ever been. They're more toxic than they've ever been. They exercise and they move less. Their brain chemistry is more altered than ever before. And that's why it takes longer for people to get well. And I knew chiropractic was very important to find and correct vertebral subluxations. When you have one or two bones misaligned, that creates pressure, hits the nerve, and affects the nerve where they go. And a chiropractor's true job is to find these subluxations and adjust them using their hands or table, whatever they need to use to adjust them. I use my hands. We make that correction, allow the nervous system then to go back to homeostasis or where it's supposed to be. Now, really get rid of the interference, get rid of the hyperstress or the hypoparasympathetics that can occur when you have a subluxation. So I knew that was important. But Dr. Chestnut was teaching us some of the reasons why people get subluxated and some of the things that prevent them from healing as fast as they could. And so I thought if I'm going to be a great chiropractor and help people recover and get well, I need to know all the different things that cause people to get misaligned, cause people to linger, cause people not to get better as fast as they can, so I can give them good answers to why they're not getting well. Give them good clues and things they could change and improve in their lives to make them better. But this list gets more and more daunting with more and more research that comes out. So in my office, we get together quarterly and we do a holistic night where we go over all this stuff. If you're only going to take one or two supplements, what are you going to take? Which ones are the most important? Talk to me about how much exercise I'm really supposed to get every day. Talk to me how much I'm supposed to move. Tell me about some of these things that my doctor's been telling me to do that you're actually finding through research might not be as well for me as they were intended to be. And along the way, I've studied all kinds of things. I continue to study with Dr. Chestnut, but I also found Dr. Dan Murphy, who I like to study with a lot. I just got back from a Dan Murphy conference, so whenever I see Dr. Murphy, I'm just spewing with cool information and knowledge. So we want you to come and check out this class. Find out how much vitamin D3 am I supposed to take, and why do I always stress D3? And what kind of form does D3 need to be in? Can it be a pill, or can it be a gel cap, or can it be a liquid? Do I even need to take it if I'm outside all day? These are the kind of questions we try to dive into. We try to find the reasons why your health isn't getting the goals you want to achieve through holistic natural stuff, not through pills and medicine. I feel like medicine is really important to have. I feel like if I was to have a heart attack or if I was to tear my bicep out again, I'm really glad there's hospitals and drugs and surgeries. They save lots of lives and do a lot of good for our society. And people today stay alive longer, better because we have them. The problem I run into is that we've become reliant on them to be the all be all of everything. Just if you had a fire, the fireman will come put the fire out in your house and save your house, but nobody ever calls the fireman to come rebuild the house. And if we could treat medicine like fires, like we having a fire, you have to put the fire out, but then have a team of carpenters, bricklayers, and electricians that come rebuild the house. If you could treat our body that same way, chiropractic would be a vital part of that. We'd actually, in the way our healthcare system is set up, we could actually be the head contractor because we can get you the physical therapy. We can get you the mental health. We can get you to a dietitian. We can get you to exercise therapy. These are things that you need. And so more and more people need to stop relying on the medical model to maintain their wellness and establish wellness and more otherwise. So our holistic night is about how we can take the first steps in promoting your wellness and figure out things that cause dementia, cause anxiety, cause the stress that keeps you from being able to heal to your fullest potential. And that's what we do on these nights. I don't put them online because I know I get asked to put them online a lot, but some of the stuff we say, not everybody agrees with. And I've learned during COVID, if I put the wrong things online, then they'll just go ahead and shut me down. I have many of my friends lose their websites and lose their ability to communicate online during this time period. So we do these all in person. We have to come to the office and do this one. So if you're watching this from a different part of the country and you want to know what this is all about, then you have to come to the office someday and learn what this is all about. Come see it. But everything we present, we back up with research. Everything we present, we back up with evidence. So what we're talking about is real. Is it chiropractic? Not in the rawest sense, right? It's not, we're not going to talk just about your spine, the vertebrae, and the nervous system. But indirectly, I think it is, because we're going to discuss the things that limit your healing potential from getting adjusted. So if you come in and you can ignore everything I say and get adjusted a lot more frequently, a lot more often. But if you're like, I want to live a healthy lifestyle, I want to live my life better, and I don't want to have to come see you 2 or 3 times a week because I'm always having healthcare problems. And that's why we do these classes. We give you the ammunition that you need to make better, smarter choices holistically and naturally. What should your diet really be? What shouldn't it be? Tell me a little bit about the stuff Kennedy's talking about with the acetaminophen and the autism. Tell me more about the fact that when people pass away, they do a bone density study of them. They find out their bones have totally normal levels of calcium. It's all the other minerals they're missing. And that's why they're struggling with osteoporosis. Maybe it's got less to do with calcium than we think. And how important is magnesium if I'm taking calcium? Is it true if I drink stuff with the fake sugars in it and I eat processed foods full of MSG that could lead to dementia, Alzheimer's? What can I do to combat that? And what do I need to do to avoid that? As a society, we continue to see us having more mental health problems, memory loss issues. The osteoporosis isn't getting better, it's getting worse. We're seeing people with bad lifestyles, exercising choices. So I just put these classes on after hours. It's open to anyone in the Rockford area that wants to come listen. It's not anything you have to join. It's not a timeshare pitch. It's just I have a lot of good information. And when you come to the clinic normally to see me, we don't always have 45 minutes to an hour to go over all these things you want to talk about. So we do these special nights from time to time. So I invite you to come see us. Again, it's November 11th at 5:30 p.m. And bring your questions. Somebody told you to try this. Somebody told you to eat this or try that. And we'll try to break down why they told you that and the overall benefits of it. Is it really that awesome? Maybe not so much. I try to give it a scale of how I grade this. As this would be huge for you to start doing this, or that would be a good thing, but I'd rather you do this and this to get faster, bigger health results. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment below. And if you have a question about chiropractic or chiropractic care, remember the only person qualified to answer that's a chiropractor. So leave your comment below and maybe next week you'll be the question of the week. If you live in my area, I hope to see you. If you don't and you want more information, reach out to me and we can talk more about topics offline. Thanks, everybody.